Complexity get up and Sprout if they can get the pistol.
A couple of P250 upgrades coming in with the util out towards mid to start off for the Complexity side, and for Sprout, just splitting 2-1-2 on the bomb sites respectively. Run boost looking to come through from Config.
Is seeing that USP and Connector, they now know that they have the mid presence, and then Sprouts are just going to fall right back out of position. Short control, contested by Speedy, sees what's coming his way. One player really spotted, tags up against them, but Cressy also gets tagged low of his own right. Speedy gets one good shot. Team Cressy can follow suit on Poison, but JKS gets both of those kills to turn back. Slack's getting involved, but JKS with a triple. Quadra up for Dennis's part 5, and going to get caught on rotation. BlameF can't get the frag against him, and now they know where both CTs are, so it's an easy rotation. Hold off against the likes of the murder hole position, get that bomb planted for T-side.
Yeah, just get it down, get that extra little bit of insurance policy. Open towards CT, actually gonna fake it. Now there's a bit of a short peek coming in.
Oh, that could deny, no, then it's a little bit too late to the line. You know, gonna get called in as the flashes go over again. Complexity falling away. Dennis all alone. No kits on him. P250 of JKS tapping up here now, known to the firebox. Going to set up a backstab from BlameF, but if JKS falls, that could be a chance for the quick defuse to come through from Dennis. Going to have to tap that bomb and stick the whole 10 seconds. He's on it. He's not moving. BlameF knows it. Tap careful. Missing every shot, but lines it up in the end and gets the round together for Complexity.
Had that calmly. Didn't start spamming wildly, start just bursting as much as you can. Instead, just tap away, take it nice and calm. And for Spinny, he did so much damage up to this B side, but that round was pretty much all JKS, right? We saw 3 entries coming through to him towards the B side. BlameF struggled to cut off the rotation, so instead they think, okay, let's just bring that bomb back over towards the A side and play out the post plan from there.
Forcing the issue back on the Sprout side. Deagles, SMGs, 1 scout for Slacks. Complexity with all the guns in is standing for round number 2. Mac 10 also in for Rush that can deal with 3 of the players without head Kevlar. Complexity playing around the defaults, being a lot more careful and passive around their execution.
Maybe a bit of an info play coming out for Palace now. Right now, there isn't any eyes on this position. The nearest player is JKS quite deep out from ramp, and for Complexity, they've got this mid control, but this backstab could be everything.
Pushing forward on Farven's part, how much info can he get? Can he seek the kill against JKS? Pretty massive considering he's one of the AKs here for Complexity. Slack's involved with the scout, then it's going to try and back up here with the SMG now down towards Dark. 60 seconds remain, Cole have got to make the move.
A nice resmoke coming through towards that ramp position, but it's just going to be the pop out from Connector by the looks of it.
Scout takes his shot, misses, does land on Config though, can't get rushed. Mac 10 turns around, 1 player back towards default. Dennis gets overwhelmed with a rifles game and 3 for 1 on the trades for Complexity. Bomb plot secured. The backstab, unfortunately, not coming through in time for Farben.
Oh, JKS even turning around at the perfect moment. And what a beautiful crossfire being set on that walkthrough from Connector. You can just see the way in which JKS gets re-smoked. He's going to flash over for his teammate. They all run out from Connector. And after Slacks gets that first kill with the scout, you look at it and think, okay, could be something here in terms of a defensive hold. And it just gets ripped so damn quickly. Only 1 player falling from Complexity in round 2.
Yeah, simple stuff. It seems for the rifles. Cressy's SMG. Looking for an exit, and again, lack of head Kevlar left the easy kills with the Galittles and the Mac 10 as well. Gonna be 2-0 for Cole. Sprout. Bring down the eco in this next round here. Nothing can get saved in for Cressy, nothing but the SMG, and well, it will be pistols around him.
Yeah, nice. Really good shot coming through from that scout, but just follow-up was just not there at all. You could just see players all sort of dancing in and around the site for the T side. And for Complexity, this is the perfect opportunity, at least for a player like Rush, to just try and farm up as much cash as possible. Maybe chuck over Poison the AWP going to the next round if he wants it.
Dennis will face forward with an Eagle first and foremost. Flashed off position. BlameF looking up with the AK, wrapping over. Short presence, Spiddies. USP is going to take contact against him. Back over at the Archers on short. Tap through. Dennis and Farben takes the nades. Tagged up early in the mid control.
A lot of map control coming in early for the T side, and it's actually granted them the opening pick. Rush has got to be careful about where he pre-aims on towards Cressy. What? I don't know what happened there. Cressy just didn't even fire.
Caught sleeping. Oh, he DC'd.
DC'd.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say.
All right. You can't see that on the stream, I don't think, but Cressy is no longer in server, and well, they're probably taking a technical pause here. Sprout in a moment's time to get him reconnected. Fortunately, it's not on a very high impactful round, and the kill was already found against Dennis, I believe, just prior to him going falling, so there's no pause call that can get called out. Farther than a 1 versus 5 left to hold on his lonesome, wait and bait, maybe get an exit frag, but definitely not getting anything else in the round.
Oh, not even the chance of being able to deal with Blame F and holding on to that AK. So a third being won out by the Complexity side. And at least when you compare the pair to Dust 2, like we saw, obviously, Sprout getting off to some very good starts to both first half and the second half and winning Pistol. This time around, it's a little bit different. And we've seen Complexity really just run Wyatt. They've been able to look very comfortable and in a position, too, where you almost wonder how that... You remember that big streak that we saw in the sort of mid portion or early portion to late portion of that first half of Dust 2? Whether that can be replicated now on T-side of here of Mirage, it's looked pretty easy so far for the 3-0 start. Can't imagine that to continue forever, at least by the easiness now when the rifles start coming in.
Oh yeah, when the guns start throwing up some resistance here for Sprouts, when things will start to get a little bit more competent for them. But I also look at Complexity and I look at this map and I think that there should still be some confidence in the long-term game, especially when you look at the potential for resets, knocking the loss bonus back, doing all sorts against the likes of Sprout when the money game starts to be played. Complexity here with contention and here with the fantastic start here on this map up. We saw how Sprout were the ones that were getting the early starts in the halves against Complexity during Dust 2, and well, it's the complete opposite this time around on Mirage.
Yeah, Sprout just taking a little bit of moment to get Cressy back and all set up in the server so we can get ahead with round 4, start off the opening rifle round. Poison, big man up on screen. Start off Dust 2 very well, and I even want to say that probably from round 25 or round 26 onwards, even going in towards OT, is probably where he found the majority of the impact, getting a lot of important kills. Config looks pretty relaxed.
Sat back and only to lean forward at this moment. I mean, he's just got the just got to wait until Sprout's 5th rejoins the server, and that's basically all they're waiting on at this stage. So no need to be too forward about it. I hope you're not being sat forward in your chair on the edge of your seat, Dwayne. I hope you'll just chill out. There is such a thing as, contrary to what us casters want to believe, there is such a thing as overhype. So if you overhype this, I'd be impressed.
Yeah, just boredom is really what's going on with some of these faces. Seem far from with a bit of bling.
That does look like a boredom stance right there.
That's just classic JKS, that is, though. Just like no emotion. Absolutely.
Was he always like that back in Oz? I know that you've been very familiar with, with his history.
For years.
Enlighten me about JKS then. What's he? Have you had the chance to sit down with and like have a beer with him or anything, or is that like still yet to be? Ah, no. Damn. Okay,
did meet him once. Meet him once at a LAN, but that's it. Just once.
I was hoping he'd give us the sick insights as a player.
Because there's that clip. It was when NAF was still playing for Renegades, and he like goes out for like a high five, and JKS like they just won like a big semi-final, a grand final or something. He's just absolute no emotion, just cool as. So yeah, that's pretty standard. But yeah, you've only got to imagine that for Sprout, they're probably just feeling the heat, really, sort of knowing that they've lost their first map. Yeah, you can make the interviews and say, oh, we're playing without pressure and our expectations aren't very high, but at the same time, you don't want to lose, right? So knowing that you're down on Dust 2 already and going into Mirage, there is going to be a lot of pressure behind them.
And pressure on everybody, it feels like, here in the first day of IEM summer. We've got some major teams up for elimination over the course of the next couple of days, and of course over the course of today as well. Got to remember, Astralis are also in that lower bracket, so possibilities that they could be eliminated if Extra Salt come up good, and if they can find some ridiculous upset, that'd be very special for them. But for Sprout, it's about bringing it back from the brink here on Mirage. For early AWP shots involved for the CT side. Press is going to get tagged up against Config's part. All players blind. Spinny comes up to support, gets 2 good frags for it. We're quickly back into round 4 in a 4 versus 2 scenario. AWP misses his shot against JKS as well. Rush on the site has seen one man in the backlines, completely unawares of where Spiddy is. JKS finally picks it back to a 3 versus 2, tagged up to 7, still gets his kills alongside Rush. Spiddy's out of ammo, but the USP can still be enough. 6 HP and 8 HP for Complexity.
Oh, Spiddy, they're so low. All it's going to take is a couple of bullets to eat. 1 versus 2 clutch just in the end, and for Sprout, they hold the defensive out of the B sides.
Yeah, one crucial mistake to the player close on the B site, rotating away at the worst moment, allowing the spray to come through for the M4, and allowing the damage to be done to the T side board. Sprouts, good holdout from that M4, and well, they get their first round of the board at this stage. Rifles back in for Complexity, the AKs and AWPs coming out of the standard, and that's contrasting to the very, very broken buy that Sprout have. They put a lot behind that gun round, and well, 2 SMGs and a Scout to follow suit with it. Scout's going to get challenged by the AWP here, so this should be easy for Poison to win.
Get that top con smoke in, take the jewel after that smoke is cleared. Now, Farfan's making a bit of a slow walk aggression move in with Dennis, but for Sprout, they obviously won a very important clutch in that last 1 versus 2, but you look back at the buy like you mentioned, Jay, and because only one player stayed alive with the loss bonus of where it was with no money in the reserve, it now means that the buy is really shaky. At least they've got a big info play behind them.
Walk straight out towards T-spawn, looking for information. They'll gather some of that. Oh, JKS has no idea. Jump face, thinking they might have only been in ramp, but no, they're all the way up top mid. Where do they go with this? Spiddy caught off, catches Config on a good trade. Slacks follow suit with that scout shot on Rush, and now 2 are left standing. The AWP are Poison, and the AK are playing there. Good shots landing tags, but no kills coming in. Flames does get 1 good kill on the A site. That's as far as it goes. 2 SMG frags for Kessie and Farvin, and their teammates for Sprout to get their second for the board.
Yeah, much better. You can just see how they lock out that B defense, and that's almost how the round started with that clutch, but it just came down to sort of JKS and co being able to just clutch back that 2vx situation, but that one was much stronger coming through from Sprout. And for Complexity, now they're in a bit of an awkward state with the money line. They're going to have a hero AK investment coming through from BlameF. Deagle's up for everybody. JKS is only going to be on a P250.
Pistols out for the most part here for Complexity. BlameF with the AK immediately dealt with by Farvin, and Sprout finding their rhythm here. Good kill to open things up on the AK of all things as well. Like if it was a pistol kill, then that would have been pretty standard, but the major weapon now dropped off, and all they've got to do is waterfall into the site, try to then get that bomb plant in. Made that the priority at this stage. Pistols can't win fights. Rush gonna get the bomb down. JKS dealt with Poison, does find 1 good deagle shot on Dennis, and Config finds Spiddy. 3v3. Are Complexity about to pull the rug from underneath their noses? No, doesn't seem to be. 2 kills back, Config left alone.
Low HP, just trying to see if he can fend off out from the Tetris area, but not to be. Deagle's getting picked up by the city side as well. Bomb planting a couple of kills, and when you look at the investment that came forward, Complexity could be quite happy with that. Knowing that Farfan was very low on 10 points of health, that could have been another player to fall, but for Sprout, tie up the scoreline at 3-3 and start, at least on Mirage, with a tied-up scoreline now.
Standard evens. Complexity had the early start of the pistol win conversions, and the gun rounds now starting to favour the Sprout camp. Double AWPs in against the full buy of Complexity back. Still limitations in certain aspects to Galil, particularly for BlameF. Speedy has the second AK though, so Sprout are pretty fine.
These double AWPs looking to try and see if they can strike pretty early on, get a bit of a mid-duel even out for Farfan. If anyone crosses out towards that top mid position, Config might give him that opportunity.
AWP looking in for Poison. Towards the ramp control. Can he lean in and try and catch off Slacks? Apparently not at this stage. Complexity mostly lurking into the mid default. Setting ready for another Palace dive here for the T side. Flashes over the AWP Poison, finally sees Slacks, but still can't catch the kill on him.
It seems like it's just going to be a run out for the Palace position. 2 players in for the bomb. Spinny just trying to see if he can spot them out towards Connector.
AK looking, sees his man, sprays through the do damage, but BlameF Doesn't get picked off. Rush leans out, completely dry into Palace control. Farman gets his frag, Dennis follows suit. BlameF can get the trade back to a 3 versus 3. Little does he know there's players making their way in from the murder hole, so the trades can be found by Sprout. Man advantage for the CT forces. The York boosted up top of triple, gets that kill on Dennis though. Falls back to ramp in the 2v2.
Yeah, get that molly, just try and waste time for the CTs to try and get into retaking positions. Flash over the top out from CT. Cressy trying to get a smoke in and at least work with it.
Free smoke down the incendiary out. We'll try to drive Rush away at the firebox. Looking away from, burst through. Cressy gets the kill. Poison gonna get caught up by Cressy all the same. 3 kills to his name. And what a retake that is for him and the rest of Sprout. Now the lead has been gained by the CT side.
Yeah, these rifle rounds are going swimmingly, aren't they, for Sprout? 4 in a row, nice retake coming in. They're able to recover both AWPs, which is just added investment that they don't need to spend into. And for Complexity, probably need to see a tactical timeout coming from them somewhat soon. In a position where money isn't fantastic, you're around sort of that 4K floater, so it's going to have to be a half buy rather than the full invest coming through for the force buy.
Basic pistols out for Cole. Flashbang in for Config, trying to make his way into the mid position very early. AWP. Oh, out to that gap, but Slacks unable to find anybody at this moment. Complexity and just creeping up. Look at Config's angle. Actually, he could catch off a lot more than he expects. He will see Slacks to the first man. 2 taps to the back of the head. Like a scene from of Mice and Men. Instant kill to open up for Complexity.
We saw moments of this on Dust 2. There's just massive holes in the defense coming through for Sprout. AWP gets picked up from Config, and he can just wait for more mistakes to come out.
Smoke back, Deagle firing, Dennis. Running out of dodge as JKS continues to taps the M4. Facing in for Config's angle, he lands that AWP pick for a secondary kill. And smokes back jungle, continues facing in aggressive, however, hoping to catch a CT player on the rotations. Farvan's AWP up a ticket booth. Is he going to be spotted here? Can this bomb cross safely or just about get there? There's a gap to work with. Bullets flying his way, but he does deal with Config and drop that AWP again.
A very late lurk coming through from BlameF out towards the underpass position, but the bomb is still not yet planted for Complexity. They had a moment to do so, but they've slowed it right down.
They're trying to catch off the AWP is the problem, and AWP's just not giving the angle. Now CTs have adjusted in the jungle position. Speedy's going to get caught by BlameF. Great shooting from the pistols. All sorts of headshots landed. Bomb plant secured. Farman and 1v4. Complexity about to steal the half buy.
I believe that's the 3rd eco/half buy we've seen Complexity convert in this best of 3 series. Sprout have let these kind of rounds slip so easily, and for Config, what a play that really was. Be able to get that Tech 9 just sneaking through into jungle, catch off Slacks. It would have been an absolute shaker, really, that he's got no idea where he just died from. He picks up the AWP, follows up, and then even just the backstab coming in, the timing that as soon as BlameF gets up towards bench, the short player starts looking away.
Complexity to utilize that small gap that they found in this round to keep the hurt back up against Sprout. The AWP staying in for Farvan, however, probably enables a force back here from the CT camp. Lax has got money to buy. Spiddy, Dennis, and Cressy are going to be the ones with issues, so actually a tactical pause will be issued. So Sprout can discuss whether they do force the issue.
Could just see from Sprout, not the best of rounds to lose, really. A bit frustration, really, as well, just adding to the tally. And for Sprout, like that's a position now where you've got to sort of force the issue around the AWP, but then even with that, you don't have a lot of backing. You've got the 1 kit upgrade coming through from Farfan. Sprout need their players to really start coming alive.
And soon. Rifles invested. Spiddy is going to buy down with the Deagle passed out by a teammate, I imagine. And yeah, M4's in the AWP for Slacks. Rifle buying for Complexity. Still backed up by 2 M4s of their own, so it's not the best of buys in the world, but still fully up. Maximum rifles involved for Cole. Slacks in with the AWP, misses his first shot, and unscoped from the second. 2 great opportunities given up to Sprout, none of them connect.
A lot of confidence for Complexity to go quite dry out towards the mid control. Evading that AWP always helps too. 2 players in towards Connector for the CT side.
Back to passive for Slacks behind the smokes. Speedy's hoping he can catch someone off guard here in the ladder room. It's Poison with the opening frag on Dennis. M4 forward of Farben adjusts against Config, just barely winning out in that fight in a 4v4. And a 33 HP, though. That's an easy trade for Complexity later.
Yeah, it could be. Very much so. And from here, they're slowing this round down for the mid-default. They're almost like doing nothing. A lot of players just standing around, waiting for an overextension, waiting for a repeat to come out for the City side, and Spinny might be the first player to do so.
Oops, in. Shot down from Slacks, gets the man advantage back against JKS. Poison's trying to find a trade back, but it's not going to happen. Farben finds Play F next. 2 kills from him despite the HP disadvantage. And Poison does catch Speedy, completely missing his shots once again. Can Rush force the issue out on Cressy? No, he cannot. So it's all left to the AWP. 2 ace clutches for Complexity, and he's slow walking into Underpass.
Yeah, he's running out of time. Needs to get a little bit of a move on, deal with the first player, and then the second. 2 players are B for Sprout.
Yeah, he's falling back to save. He'll hold on to it. It will be a lead gained by Sprout again. 5-4. Complexity are struggling a lot more in this. I was kind of expecting them to have a bit of a whitewash back up, and especially in this first half of the T side. Sprout are holding their own. I'll give them credit. I'll give them credit.
It's a curious surprise to actually see Sprout holding their ground right now, to think as well that they lost the pistol, the anti-eco conversion, and that 3-0 start, but they're still up by 1 and in a position where they're really starting to put some decent rounds ahead of them, trying to just see if they could at least follow up with a little bit more of a streak, start gaining a bit more of a lead than just by that 1-round deficit.
Complexity still have the rifles inbound for round 10. The Deagle back on JKS, so the exact same buy that Sprout had on their force up. Leaning out initially for Rush, getting that opening kill against Farben. The AWP Slats can respond, drop that bomb, and Dennis picks back on Poison as well. So 4v3, JKS is giving up the information. Config does find Speedy elsewhere in the sniper's nest, and JKS gets another shot to the back of the head against Dennis. Slacks and Cressy. Orps in, seeing the man spray through. Cressy does find Blame F, but JKS gets Slacks all the same, so it's all left to Cressy in a 1v2.
A very difficult clutch scenario because they know exactly where he is. Coming in for Connector, you've almost got to imagine that as soon as that smoke starts to dissipate, Config's going to be pre-aiming.
Oh, back's turn. Cressy stuck past him. JKS gets caught, he turns around for it, but Config wins the fight. He wins the round for Complexity.
Oh, that gets very down to the wire once again. Great duel from Cressy to be able to sort of walk in and around that top con smoke, get up towards stairs, deal with JKS, but just can't spin around towards that right-hand side in time to follow up into the kill. And I even look at this over-aggressive play. You can see JKS is just spamming through the sandwich smoke, and then they just over-aggress with a flashbang. That wasn't really a necessary play to come out from Sprout. Really over-aggressive that just gave the advantage away.
And the Deagles on the force buy for Sprout, trying to think of force the issue back once again. Slacks gets involved with the opening kill, straight up towards the mid-control. Poison pummeled. Cole again lose the advantage. I don't know how they're losing so many opening picks to Sprout, because it's costing them a number of these rounds here. Farben does get traded. Dennis able to respond on Blame F in the mid position. Config trading places with Spiddy. Spiddy thinks the Connect is completely open, but they still believe it to be an A play.
Who does this favor? Because both players have completely evaded one another. JKS looking to take more fights out towards CT, sees that player struggling to get the headshot in, but JKS gets away with a couple of kills, makes it 3 overall.
12 HP though is easily tradable, but Slacks does not land the kill shot. Plant coming down, Rush forced out the way. Cressy comes in from jungle, flanks out, gets the kill in, but Config able to get his kill back involved, and JKS held back towards Tetris. Slacks has no kit, no smoke. Got to win these fights thick and fast, and it's not going to happen for him. Config ends his life, ends the round again for Complexity to regain the lead against Sprouts. Shouldn't be a buyback for this one, though, for the CT side, though. Finally, Complexity might catch a little bit of a break.
Well, that's the break that they needed. Forced buyouts to the last. Config taking some very good duels together out from that jungle position, and JKS just creating so much space on the side, being able to look out towards CT and from that composition on the top of triple. And Complexity, this is just the break that they needed from the pressure, right? We've seen so many of these, like, really down-to-the-wire rounds that now they're in a bit of a position where they go, ah, a simple eco.
They come jumping down, Zeus out for Cressy, catches Config, he didn't see that coming. The stack back into the rest of the CT players coming in from the underpass and short. Slacks and Dennis are already tagged so heavily, so easy pickings for Rush. Fortunately for Complexity, it seems like the only pick that will go that way is the Zeus kill. They'll maintain the rest of their rifles pretty handily here.
Just make sure they don't lose any more than that. AWP could get charged down out from the apartments, but not to be. JKS putting more kills to his name. And he was a guy that we didn't speak about a massive amount when we talked about maybe some of the stars from Complexity out in that first map of Dust 2. He was the second player behind Poison. Remember that really big clutch that he had out towards the car position on the B side? We're now starting to see him really come ahead on the entire server here on Mirage. He's putting in some really hard yards.
Back up on the gun rounds here. Complexity have had some very hard rounds when Sprout bring the weapons into play, so let's see whether this will be another one. Whether the CT side can continue to contest against Complexity. They have got Spitty initially up into the mid control. Far than aggressing it towards Palace. JKS gets caught off guard for it, so once again, Sprout, they find a start.
That's what they need. One of those cheeky little picks aggressively out from Palace. And no room for a trade to come back either, considering it's just a lurk attempt. And even Dennis is kind of thinking about with a teammate, okay, let's start taking some ramp control. Maybe we can go aggressive from here.
Okay, if Rush only tags at the likes of Slacks, the AWP does miss its shot entirely, so no further casualties or damage done to Complexity. Spitty spray through the mid position, gets nothing at all. And Sprout again have aggressed up towards the ramp position. Rush again is going to fall to the hands of the CT forces. Complexity being very lackadaisical about the idea that Sprout might push forward, so it's a 5v3.
Yeah, that's happened a couple of times. Ooh, this is a nice sneak from Blame F. As soon as the resmoke comes in, he actually starts pushing forward, sees that player towards the bench angle. A lot of damage in return, though.
Dink to 13. Cressy needs one more bullet to make this happen. Flashed out instead. Poison. They're going to take the AWP mantle. Spitty gets the kill against Config. Blame F is finally found, and Poison in a 1 versus 5. Not good enough for him today. Cressy eventually his spray lines up for his 2K, and Sprout again find these all 5 alive for the CT side. And I'm starting to get concerned about the A plays for Complexity because they're letting them get down ramp so many times, and whenever they do, they're always caught off. Like you mentioned, it's happened a couple of times in this map.
You've got to expect that if that play was coming through, that the Palace lurk has at least got to have the gun out. Like, yeah, you could have your knife right towards the entrance and then have your weapon out, but this has been countless times where the Palace lurk has just fell back and just not even had the weapon out, just an easy pick to come in, and now just a dive down towards underpass for the CTs.
Shot in or about. Connection from Slacks is landed. Config gets 2 players in underpass, though. Immediately, the CT side fall apart. Sprout have 5 in the trade, though. 3 versus 3. JKS is discovered. Blame F starts leaning in as the AWP of Cressy now has 2 different positions to worry about. He's looking into Sniper's Nest directly. Config making noise, though, indicating he's rotated, and indeed he has to go grab an AK instead.
That's kind of cheeky. So they might think that window is clear because Config's fallen down. Farfern can't find anything for the back of triple. A is now open.
They won't go through the murder hole, though. Blame F will start to make his lean instead. Slack is caught off guard. Now all left to Cressy into CT spawn. They know he's there. He put the flash out, and smokes and flashes coming out from this position continuously. Tapped up, tagged up. Takes his shot, but misses it out. 15 HP. If he runs back into CT, he's going to meet the demise at the hands of Blame F. 8-6, Complexity at long last take the half.
And that round really just showcases the smart CS that Complexity can start running here on T-side. Just the way in which they bait the Config's going back down and there isn't a player out from window, and then as soon as the sound cue comes through from the CTs that they're starting to move away from outside of that murder hole and mark a position down into CT, that's when the opportunity strikes. Blame F takes that duel straight away on towards the upper court on rotation, and for Complexity, this could be them getting up to 9 at the turn of the half, especially with this kind of a scrappy buy-in for Sprout.
Oh, 100%. Mars is in, SMG out for Cressy. Dennis presses onwards and is immediately doubled by Rush. Good frag found, double up against Lax as well. AWP involved and real close and personal towards the Palace players, but only is good for 1 frag. 4v2 now, Complexity have the sight, and from here, Sprout probably shouldn't get the retake for this.
Yeah, it's going to be a very, very hard retake indeed. Slurk smoke goes down, they're just going to push through it of it.
Shots on SMG at Cressy, seen by Poisons, but he gets 1 good frag to return. Needs to get 4 overall, however, to make this clutch happen. And even then, that doesn't even include the bomb defuse. Known here towards Sandwich in the NJKS. Gets his shot off on the AWP, and a 9-6 half goes the way of Complexity. Hard graph for Sprout, and we'll see whether they can return after this.
Yeah, yeah. Travel like traveling, just the dust, yeah, just the same. Hey, just the dust, just the same, just the dust, just the same. Always you and me, trying to be weightless, like we're the two surviving pieces of something. Always you and me, trying to be weightless. And I know it feels like light years in the making. Oh, just 1,000 miles of love. Don't look down, we made it. Feet far off the pavement, and we go up, up, up. 1,000 miles of love. Yeah, yeah, we stay understated. Pressure feels amazing.
Under peach yellow skies, dreaming big and aiming high. Name the clouds passing by, wishing we run away. All we need is our passports, baby. Leave the rest in our troubled minds. Let us go down in laughter, baby. Trying to figure out.
But only just here on Mirage. Not quite as one-sided as we thought it would be initially. Sprout are giving it their all as they try and fight for survival here in IEM at Summer. They need to hold themselves the pistol round, though. Complexity, if they get to double digits, that's when we start spending the end of Sprout. Farthen first face in towards Palace, gets the kill on Blame. F-Config able to respond back towards mid, but Slacks there with a 2-for-1 trade.
A lot of early aggression coming out from the mid default. There is a big backstab coming through from Poison, but it depends on how quickly it can get set up because the T's are taking the A-bomb site quickly.
Speedy just checking all corners, very twitchy from his own part. JKS and Rush backed up. Bomb plant. Two players up at Palace and back at the connected control. Poison gets his kill back on Farvin. 3 versus 3 situations. The CT's forced forward, trying to get that bomb defuse on JKS. He's got the kit. There's a smoke down for him as well. Have they put it up? Just about now, it's coming in. Tap on the defuse. CT's facing together. One CT back in CT spawn, though. Slacks gets the kill back in. Poison knows exactly where he is, but he's out of ammo. Got to reload, and it allows Slacks the headshot to come through. The 3K to his name, and Sprout with the 7th on the back of the pistol.
A beautiful pistol round coming in from the Sprout side, and it did get very dicey. It had to come through just the spam shots coming into that smoke. You could see the way in which Complexity have got a 3-on-2 from that pick from CT. They get the smoke down onto the bomb. JKS has got the kit. They just stick it straight away. But Slacks bails them out of a lot of trouble and gets a 7th round in for Sprout. That's just what they needed going into the second half.
In the past, and definitely in this particular map-up, we've seen one at least on their T-side line. Nades involved, damage done to Farvin and Speedy. Cressy does get the opening kill on Poison, and Molotov forces the next CT back over towards the connector entrance at the stairs area. Cressy and Farvin are still getting tag damage, though. The bomb plant comes in safe. Also, Complexity away here to a 5-on-4 scenario.
They need a kill. They need one quickly. They've got to be able to convert it back to a 4 versus 4. Otherwise, this retake is just not going to happen.
Ingle watching Cressy. Find his way back. Smokes down to try and find a cross. There is no kit in place, so they can't just stick a ninja. There's a gap in that smoke anyway for Dennis to get the kill on Config. 3 standing for Complexity. It might be best to hold on to the Kevlar and the upgrades for the full-on eco round in round 18 because this round is a lost. Sprout will have 8.
I can't really get it out of my head just how competitive Dust 2 was, and then how competitive Mirage has been the same. And we both were sort of on the same thought process in which, okay, first map could be close, first map could be competitive, but then the second is really where we get to see complexity and what they have to offer. But so far, it seems like for Sprout, they're just surviving. They're holding on here.
Punching well above their weight today. I guess for Sprout, it kind of achieves what they wanted to do. They wanted to show some excellent CS, and I mean, you could argue that this is probably it. But a lot more work needs to be done here if they want to try and maintain survival and maintain a map in this series. Complexity with the scout out on Poison. Smoked off initially. There is a gap in that smoke. It's tiny. And then you can see Cressy and co. Jump face to look for information instead. Sprout just slow walk into the mid position.
Yeah, start to hear that scout. Bit of a jewel being taken out from Blame F. At least getting a little bit of early tag damage. Nade coming in. That's a bit better.
Deagle spat. JKS, what the hell just happened? Okay, flawless round for Complexity. All 5 alive as Sprout. Just, what? I'm so confused. It all just fell apart so quickly there for the T side.
I'm so lost right now, Jay. Really am. When you look at the amount of weaponry they've actually got behind them, you've only got 3 players that have Kevlar, and then the kill just come in one after one after one, and then all of a sudden the whole team is dead and everyone is alive for Complexity. What a poor round in from Sprout, and what an excellent round for Complexity.
Yeah, the CTs will be well chuffed at that, but Sprout a bit miffed, immediately getting involved with the opening kill. Poison can find 2 taps of the scout to get the trade back. On Slacks. It's a 4v4 so early into these rounds here. Config's trying to continue to fight out to the mid control. He can't get the pick on Spiddy. He got close. Eventually, he does finish off the job. Look towards Connected. Oh, there's Dennis Header to get the trade, and back to evens we go again for Sprout.
They did get tagged up very early on to that HE. Poison going to start backing off in that jungle position, start rotating back into CT, and JKS has gone for the approach of actually taking ramp control.
Okay, spraying forward. Trying to get out of the connected position. Good scout on Poison. Gets another good kill. Galil got to watch out from Palace entrance. Farvan's peeking up. His head's been seen. Cressy gets the kill back on Poison. JKS struggling to deal with the T-side players. They're out in the open. Rush's spray is good. JKS able to combine with it, but Farvan gets the trade. The bomb is in the open, though. The AK can see it, and Farvan will respond to Complexity shenanigans. Get the round together. Back to within 1 of the leads.
Go back and forth a little bit now. And at least when you look at the money line, Complexity, obviously you don't want to lose a round and you want to convert every round possible, but with the money in the reserve for them, it doesn't affect them as much as it probably does to Sprout, knowing where they sit with only 1 player staying alive. You can see JKS just... Sprout again keeps the scoreline close.
10-9. Good shot on Poison, opens up on Dennis. Good start. Blame F also to support the mid-control. Config will fall at Sniper's Nest. So that's 1 sacrifice to make, but it's 2-for-1 trade, a man advantage for Complexity.
What a re-smoke on that timing. As soon as there's so much chaos out from mid and they've got a man advantage, now Sprout start to regroup, look to go into the apartments, and that just allows time for Blame F to start rotating in from market and allow just another anchor on this B side.
Yeah, Rush just waiting for whoever wants to take face next. He doesn't know if it's going to be mid or the apartments. It will be apps, of course. Flashbangs inbound from Farvan. Molotovs out towards Truck. He did see that 1 player getting back out of dodge to reposition. Cressy thinks he's safe. He thought wrong. Rush and Blame F for crossfire lock for 2 more good kills. And Farvan standing alone in a 1 versus 4. And Complexity can easily reclaim control of this streak. Reclaim control of this 2-round lead. Rush gets his frag in. Should grab the AK as well. Or not, apparently. That's fine. It's fair enough. Still rifles up for Complexity. Sprout might have to go double eco.
Yeah, they probably have to buy it up here now because their money is so damn wrecked. Really nice repositioning coming through from Rush just to be able to get away from that van position, be able to create that angle looking up to the apartments. And yeah, you can see exactly where the money is. 11-9 up. And for Sprout, I don't want to say this buy is do or die, Jay, but it's getting to it. They can't afford to lose this force buy.
Blame F in with the first and the second. Tapping forward, bursting forward for the third. Dropping that bomb. Farvan and Cressy, well, this one. Config finds the kill back, and Farvan all alone in this.
Just impeccable, really. Not losing much at all. You can just see Blame F just holding in towards that window position. Everyone else finding their impact. Config and for JKS on the site itself. And for Sprout, when you look at how that round just got sort of pulled, You almost think that that's a Glock round. You don't sort of think of that as being a force buy because well, they didn't do any damage, really.
You mentioned the Sprout kind of wanted to win that force buy. It's not quite happened here.
Palace dive.
Yeah, seemingly just get that bomb plant bonus, get the rifles back out in full for round 23. JKS holding alongside his teammates, burst through, all the kills coming in as appropriate. Not a casualty for the CT side. Complexity now 13-9. The dominance is starting to reinstate itself, Dweg, here. 3 rounds in a row for Cole.
I have a bit of a feeling we saw a very similar scoreline out on the first map too at 13-9. Gotta wonder, what sort of position can we see Sprout really giving it their all, trying to at least get it to double digits? And for Complexity, I just look at the money. Like JKS, Blame F, they got 10k plus.
Things are looking dicey now for Sprout. Time to be very concerned, I feel. Complexity are in full control of this. The effort put back on the Sprout side is going to be quite heavy, I feel like, in this one, Blake.
Yeah, see some of the player cams up on screen. A little bit more cheerful for Complexity than it's been at times. And for them, I only got to imagine that they can just feel like the win is there. It's on the edge of their tongue. They've already taken the first map. They're up 13-9 on their map pick, and Mirage hasn't been easy by any stretch of the imagination. And for Sprout, you almost get the feeling that it's slowly being tugged away from them.
A bit of a, I believe a small technical issue is being found right now. Yeah, something's happened to the server here, Dweg. So it looks like we'll be stalled a little bit more in terms of the map up and the situation here. But right now, the scoreline being where it is for the Complexity side is a really big positive for me. Like looking at their current situation, looking at their just looking at the fact that they just hit a 2-0 and get rid of Sprout pretty quickly.
Yeah.
It's what it's all about at the moment here. And if they can just maintain this confidence, then they'll maintain this this map up and this series by extension.
Yeah, both teams would probably look at the outcome of how Map 1 and Map 2 has been, and maybe hasn't been that impressed by their individual performances and the team play, but you get games like that there are going to be a little bit more scrappiness. There is going to be not the best of outcomes there, but for Complexity, a win is a win, and that's exactly what they need to try and drive this lower bracket run, because for a team of their kind of stature, you almost expect the run to go quite deep in the lower bracket for them.
Yeah, again, Complexity are a team that you hope would be able to at least hold some level of confidence in this particular tournament and hold some level of, you know, just hold some sort of decent run is the main thing. Like that's the main thing. Like, just not necessarily talking about the victory or like a top placement, but just to be able to hold some confidence in the group stage, make at least a decent run for the lower bracket. That's the kind of team that Complexity should be. So to set themselves up on this kind of a wave. So again, a very confident series and a very good moment for them to hold.
Yeah, what's left in the tank for the Sprout side? I see Dennis up on screen. Big performer out on Dust 2. A little bit quiet now on Mirage in comparison. I might need to see if he can sort of wiggle a little bit more out of his team, or a little bit more.
Back in the server here as we're ready to go between Complexity and Sprout. And 13-9, 4 rounds the difference. AK's in, of course, with the M4s and such. AWP out for Slacks, of course, in the offensive line here for Sprout. Can they return? Can they find a new way into this map up, or will Complexity just take the next 3 rounds and call it from there?
It all just comes down to this swing round. We know that for Complexity, there is so much money behind them in the bank, but the same could not be said for the Sprout team. Up on that T side, really desperate to try and see if they could just get something back in their favor. They're starting things off with a little bit of a mid-default, and for Complexity, might even see a bit of an aggressive peak actually coming in towards the apartments.
Push forward on Poison's part. He has 1 player to find in this position. Very, very passive, however, from Cressy. Just around that corner, he doesn't want to lean too far forward. Not seeing anything at all here. A minute and 20. Very early doors in this one. They will try and force that player back, and they actually do get a kill against him as a result.
What a beautiful flash. You could see Poison trying to get out of that Palace position, but just not able to do so. And now for Dennis, he's just walking up top of Connector. He's creating some space here.
They're accounted for this. I think BlameF is watching the murder hole. Yeah, he's ready for this. No! Dennis wins the fight. Complexity. 5v3. Sprout finding a new lease of life.
That was unexpected, especially when you've got BlameF in that position, watching out for that rat play to come in. It's now going to rely on Rush to just be able to hold some sort of contention out towards a B-side. At least he deals with Dennis.
Seeing Cressy as well, I believe. The shoulder just popping out of the side of the wall. Expecting him to have dropped down by now. Flashes inbound. Backup is also on the way here. Attack burst continuing to try to do damage. Not quite found. JKS and Config both coming back from the apartments to try to go for the 4v2 retake against their nature. Slaps gets the up shot on Config, and now JKS is all that remains.
I might as well look for a bit of an exit kill. Like, there's so much cash behind them that you don't want to throw away the M4, but at the same time, if you can do a little bit more economical damage to your opposition, try and potentially drop that AWP from Slacks, then that's just more investment lost from Sprout.
That means one more survival round again for the Sprout side, trying to bring us back from this deficit. And when we were around this position is when Sprout were able to turn it to overtime against Complexity. So I imagine that there might be a similar sort of thing ahead of this if they can keep this momentum going. The money for the Complexity side, however, is going to continue buying down. So there will be no free rounds, no ecos that Sprout can take away.
13-9 for the lead of Complexity out in Dust 2 that ended up going to OT. Whether we'll have the same mirror image, only time will tell. I could just see for Rush, at least cutting off that lurker, or at least just that single player out from the short position. A little bit more of some economical damage being landed by JKS, but only that one kill to end. Double AWP setup actually coming through from Poison and Config now.
Big weapons involved. M4s. On JKS, BlameF and Rush, Poison and Config. Mentioned before, having the double AWP set up. One player towards the short control, one player holding out on A. Short presence may be required to deal with Spiddy because he's got that first kill on JKS.
Just the start that they need to be able to at least get the numbers game in their favor. A bit of a crossfire being locked into mid, but it seems like it could just be the walkout from ramp. The bomb isn't following with the T side right now, just seeing if they can run the clock, see if they can overextend a CT to make a mistake.
Rotating back to grab that bomb here, set up the utility basis on the T-side line. Complexity have nothing on the A site. They're expecting there to be an underpass play or some sort of mid play towards B, but with the set piece smokes coming in, they'll realize how wrong they were. Cressy could still be in for a late backstab, however, in the apartments, which might be the next big concern here for them. CT side players coming out into the A site, catching the likes of Poison on the edge of this one. 5v3, Cressy, Slacks, all sorts of kills pouring in for them, and Complexity ripped apart on defense.
Nothing BlameF could do about that one. Just hold on to the M4, hold on to that into the next round. And for Sprout, just a really clean take of that A side. The util coming out over the top. You could see the way in which the AWP of Poisoners at least trying to sort of work around that smoke and just getting completely overwhelmed. And for Sprout, this is now a couple of good rounds for them in a row.
The opportunities are abound. Again, to try and take Mirage away, and what a day it would be if they could steal this map up away from Complexity and try and take some sort of confidence here in this series. This has been a hell of a result thus far. 13-11, small tech pause for Complexity at this moment. Sprout. Should have the rifles. The question is what kind of buy should we see from Complexity? I imagine probably just some weapons out of standard here for the CT side.
Well, JKS and BlameF have got a fair bit of cash between them. Rush the same, but Poison and Config are a little bit lower. And it is just getting that feeling that we're very, very similar to Dust 2. I don't think the outcome will be exactly the same we could still be going to OT. But I just look at the way in which Complexity have been over the course of both the second map and the first map, and just at times it seems like, I don't want to say it's been a choke, but they haven't been able to capitalize on the leads that they've had to take it as easy as it could be.
Complexity not getting away with the simple affair here in the CT basis. And on their map pick, Sprout will continue to keep it competitive. Orps in, M4's AWP's out. For Martin and for Config as well. CT players up into the mid position. They have Slacks tagged up early. Flame F with the kill. That opens up this round for Cole. Big start. Underpass plays inbound, however, so Speedy could be involved in something. Cressy also being able to do the same. Taking out Blame F to a 4 versus 3. Complexity. Need to find some sort of trade back. JKS almost wins one out towards Palace, but Sprout are just picking apart the CT side now.
They're starting to play with some fire. Some really good mid picks coming through from Sprout, and just the way they cleanly take the A site. They deal with JKS trying to get up towards the balcony on Palace. Rush does find 1 kill back, but no more than that. 12 rounds now being gained by Sprout, and the money for Complexity, it's now starting to run out.
Tactical timeout for the Complexity side now. Right time to do so. Do they go for another force invest? Is there even one that's realistically plausible? I mean, maybe a half buy might be a good idea here for Complexity, because we have seen those work out pretty well for them when those Deagles were out in the 10th round that they got. Where they were able to dismantle Sprout and easily deal with whatever the T-side players were going to throw at them. Connect to Crossfire. There is going to be a Deagle and a P250, so a little bit of upgrade, but not a massive amount here for Complexity.
And for Sprout, doesn't seem like we're getting the guys really hyped just yet. Probably maybe just trying to reserve that until they actually get a lead, or they're actually able to take this map and go to a third. Who would have thought that would have even been something to consider? Tactical timeout, now going the other way, Jay. We saw Complexity take one, now Sprout doing the same.
Yeah, Sprout recognizing that they're on the back foot. Got to focus on the upcoming few rounds that might be able to lead them to the even and the lead. Again, Complexity being contested, and Sprout are the ones that are doing it by quite the shocking amount as well. Orps in, AK's out, the Eagles involved for 2 players, PT50's on 2 more for Complexity. Again, it's not going to be a major buy. Nades are out for the stack plays though, and they could tag up some individuals. Denison Slacks take the initial damage. Follow-up Nades doing even more, but not as massive as the CTs would have hoped.
They don't quite commit with it either. After that nade stack comes in, they don't just run up top mid and try and take some fights instantly. They fall back, a little bit more passive being held, but it's some early chip damage coming into the T side.
And this gets found by Blame F. That's what we wanted to see from the pistols in play. The Deagle fragging is going to burn her out of position, however. Sprout putting utility on, and Complexity forced away from initial contact positions, but they still have the man advantage, and that's what's most important.
Poison. Oh my goodness, don't tell me they're going to win another eco, Jay. This is going to be like the 5th or 6th eco that could be converted for Complexity. At least a bit of an entry comes out to the B side. Does Speedy expect another player? Blame F now gets another kill and an AK.
Oh lordy. Oh lordy lord. Sprout about to concede 14 back to Complexity, again on the half buy. I'm kind of surprised how well these half buys have been going well for Complexity, and Poison still gets more damage. Dink on Slacks. Him and Blame F with the AK in hand, seeing the likes of Farvan out to the left-hand side. Slacks will tag so heavily. AK spray doesn't quite line up for them, so they can get a couple of trades, but Convict comes back in from the short control, and Poison overwhelms the last man. 14-12. Aye, the half buys, man, they are so deadly.
And it's like when you go to a restaurant, Jay, you get a 3-course meal, entree's great, main's fantastic, you get to the dessert and it's disappointing. That's what Sprout are like in these situations. There have been so many eco rounds across Dust 2 and Mirage in which they haven't been able to convert, in which they've lost, and you can just see that from Cressy. That can't be a round that they lose, and for Complexity, that could be the game winner. That round right there.
That is going to be one of the best analogies I think I've ever heard you relate Counter-Strike to real life.
That's it.
Twig. Because here's the thing, I can actually relate to it. I understand what you're talking about. Sprout having all the components, but at the very last hurdle, they could still crumble. Blame F, 2 picks already into the mid control, not quite getting a triple. Config's there to bail him out, those the aggressors against Spitty. And it's all left for Cressy and Fav, and the last 2 players left for Sprout. 14 HP on one of them, the bomb's been dropped in mid.
They need a miracle. They need one of these 2 guys to just come up absolutely ham. And for Cressy, he might be able to catch off an over-aggressing config, depending on how far he pushes from the underpass position. Could lean out for the T side. No! Cressy turns around. Oh, the timing is so awful.
And now Farvan's got it all to do. Again, bomb dropped in the mid control. They have got JKS up here. Watching underpass, his teammates watching the short control, and that's that little crossfire that sort of baits in the T-side player into the mid position out into the open. Pretty recognizable for the most part, but for him, trying to attack from a different angle and got to go through underpass, which is where JKS is watching from, and now Config's watching it as well. 30 seconds, and Farvan's just got no time to work with. He's got to act now, or he's got to go never.
But just save, really? You don't want to save when you're down, potentially going up to 15 for complexity, but you look at what Farfan's got. He's got an AK, he's got full armor, and full nade set. It's not worth going for it. You're going to win 1 versus 4, pick up that bomb, and get it towards the site with this time left? No, absolutely not. So just hold on to what you have. Complexity, though, what a way to bounce back after they win an eco round. They follow up, and blame F, just the aggression out from the bottom of connector into mid was just the start for everything in that last round.
Complexity gaining the map and match point. Sprout up for elimination in the next round if they cannot find a way to return. So they take a tactical, they take a pause. AK on Fav, and I imagine the force buyer's got to come in. Pretty much guarantee the force buyer's going to come in. They have to do so. Might as well spend, might as well get those better weapons. Those extra few opportunities, those extra few kills that you could get could make the difference. It could win you back around here. AKs, Galils, Deagles, Spitty. Yet to invest, but I imagine you'll be on a similar record.
Deagle as well. Really a lack of weaponry to work with, and for complexity, they could just feel like the win is right here. A perfect chance to be able to convert in round 28, knowing the weaponry that they're up against, and even the buy that they've got. M4s, an AWP to come out for Poison, double AKs too. And for Sprout, do they just try and commit something a little bit quicker this time?
Well, Blame F is going to challenge them directly in the mid control to try to flash their way out. His back's turned, still finds 2 players, looks back to the other side, and does get overwhelmed. Still Poison with the AWP, returns for a 2-for-1. Nade back on Cressy's position. He knows he's there at underpass. He will fall back together in the end.
There's a little bit of a hole now for Cressy to kind of work with. He can actually backstab the AWP, but this could be a way back into the round.
But does he? I think Poison's going to step out. JKS gets checked, and it's a 3v3. And indeed, that hole does get exploited. You can realize that the connector position is coming in. Poison trading blows against Cressy. 1 HP. He does get fallen to rush. And now the bomb plant will be secured by Spitty.
Oh, Config. He can swing out for the palace position. Can he get the right timing? There's the 1 tap to the first. It's now all down to Farfan.
All in the clutch. Flash and HE. Smoke back against the position, though. He's going to blind him off. Can you see Config? I think he just caught him. He'll see Rush definitely. Kill found. Smoke back on the bomb. AWP and Poison watching. Blind firing from Fav, and the flashbang comes in. The nade comes back out. Will that get Poison? It won't get Config, though. He's a diffuser. Oh, he's just killed off. Farvan's held it. Diffuse get back on Poison. And a 1v3 keeps Sprout alive.
Oh, they keep going, they keep coming, and they keep winning these clutch rounds. Blame F getting aggressive up from mid. The walk up towards the top of connector, but Farfan in the 1v3 clutch comes up when necessary. What a clutch to come out. They smoked the bomb. They even smoked top connector.
Sprout clinging on for dear life. Complexity struggling to close out this map, much like they struggled to close out the previous one as well. Are we on for another OT in this series, Dweg? That is the question I'm posing to you.
It's very possible. It really is, because for complexity, they can't buy here. They can upgrade a couple of pistols. They can get an eco half-buy investment together, but in terms of what they can actually bring to the table with the loss bonus of where it sits, it's not going to be a massive amount. They've got to give themselves a good buy into round Sprout, I could just imagine how hyped the guys must be after getting such a big clutch that just keeps them in the game.
Such a massive play, and one that could save Sprout still. Complexity on the Deagle buy. Just Eagles. Kevlar for Roche. That's about it. He's playing contact out towards the B site, seeing the utility inbound. Adjust alongside playing F Deagle. Attack do some damage. No kills found as of right now. They drop their way back out. Dennis gets that one frag. Cressy can follow suit. Playing F is still alive. Naded back out by Father, though, and JKS is poisoned. 2v5.
Oh, just dealing with the eco so much better there from the Sprout side. They go for the B site XE. They've got the utility behind them. They have some very good entry path lines in. Farf and Dennis, Slacks, Cressy all getting a pick each. And for JKS, he's just got to hope for an exit kill and hope to get a chance to save onto an AK.
Capped away. No kills have been found against Sprouts. There's no AK he can get for free. Maybe he could grab an exit frag somewhere in the apartment, somewhere on the B lurk. No way that's likely for JKS. Might be able to find Dennis. That might be his likely play, but again, just a Galil. He'll be able to catch on that play. Really has to try and find Farben, who is starting to lean towards his position. What does JKS do here? Sweet FA. Kill found, 14. We go to 30 rounds to egg. Complexity still on match point. Still on elimination for Sprout. But still, they just can't close out these maps.
Who would have thought that out of all of the lower bracket games that this is the one that could be the most competitive that we see, Jay? Overtime in the first one, round 30 now into the second. Can Sprout do the unthinkable and bring it to OT? And all rides on this round right here.
CT players involved in the defaults here. Poison's walking sold out towards the mid position, and Speedy captures the kill. Opens up at the edge of the smoke. Config trying to lean back in, catch that player back for dead. Spray through to a 4 versus 4. That's beautifully done. Small gap exploited, and we're back to evens again for Complexity. They concede all manners of mid-control, however.
It does drive a bit of an over-rotate towards this B site. You've got JKS just jump spotting out from CT, and for Sprout, it seems like there is a little bit more emphasis to lean that bomb out to A.
Got a little over a minute for them to make the decision. Cressy leaning forward here in the on the mid positions. Blame F is going to try to rotate to join the likes of JKS here. Be those two players to defend the site. Even got to be careful about the mid control of the connector players that could be involved here. If he can get a strike on Slacks, then that might be enough to hold the round itself. All the utility coming in, they're going to make their way out of ramp with a bomb.
Now that utility is just going to force JKS further and further back. They know it's got to be an A site, but they've got to get here in time.
Big lean up, Pansy, Slacks, big kill. JK trying to get involved, Config doubles up massively. Cressy and Farben, last couple of players remaining. Inbound connector, Blame F wins the fight. And it looks like there might not be any overtime, but Farben clutched before. Can he clutch again? 2 kills to his name. Bomb on his back, will get planted for default.
Oh, try and fake it. Try and draw the CTs out to the open, reposition slightly. Blame F's coming in from CT, and Farfen's got to look to clutch the 1v2.
Rush making noise, he's known towards stairs. Farben having his head tucked down. Could be 2 more 1v1s given up by Complexity, or he could force the issue. No! Rush wins the fight, wins out the spray. Complexity gonna take it. 16-14, 2-0. Sprouts are out of IEM Summer.
Oh, what an end. Honestly, Jay, I really didn't see it going down to the wire like this. Complexity struggled to close at 13 to... Oh, they're hyped about that one.